Hey viewers, my name's Cara. I'm your host for Tuesdays on the Pagan Perspective, and this week we're talking about self-taught beliefs. This week's topic comes from Direrain, and their full story and everything will be in the description, so I'm just going to give you a short version of it. Long story short, this is coming from me. I know, I tell really long stories. I'm gonna try. Long story short, Direrain was raised in a Christian, very dogmatic household, and when they became a legal adult and got out of the house and things like that, I'm guessing, started to think about their own personal beliefs outside of just what they had been taught as a child and what they had been taught by their family and how they had been brought up, started thinking about their own beliefs that they hold and kind of just finding that that's what they want to act on. It's just to go on their own life experiences, and Direrain is in their 20s at this time, around my age, and just kind of wanting to go with what they believe to be true about the world. And so the question is whether we think that it makes sense to tell people that you are following a path that is your own self-taught beliefs, because when they tell people this, they usually get a funny look from them, and also wondering if we think that there's a place in paganism for this kind of thing, because they're not sure if it's really pagan, what they believe, etc. So starting right away, the most easiest thing that I can say about this is, yes, I think that it is perfectly acceptable to tell people that you are following your own personal spiritual path, that you are following your own belief system, whatever the case may be, whatever ends up feeling the best to you, the best thing that you can say that you feel gets your point across, that maybe doesn't get as many weird looks from people. I think what a lot of us and there was someone in one of the comment sections of one of my videos who suggested to someone else who had asked this question in the comments to just tell people that you're following your own personal spiritual path. That might even get fewer weird looks than self-taught beliefs, because it doesn't feel as much like teaching. It's just like personal beliefs as opposed to like being self-taught. I don't know. I think when I hear people talk about being self-taught, I think of skills and languages and things like that. People who self-teach themselves how to speak multiple languages or how to do, I don't know, any number of things. That's like what I think of. So I usually refer to my personal spiritual path. That might be a wording that you might like to use. Or, yeah, just your own personal beliefs, or you can just say I don't follow any specific tradition or any specific path. I just kind of, I believe what I believe, whatever. But yes, I think that's great. I think a lot of us do that even within the realm of paganism or not. We still, a lot of us are very eclectic, and it all boils down to what we personally feel to be true, and whether that matches up with a specific path or tradition, and then we decide to call ourselves Wiccan or Druid or Norse practitioner or whatever the case may be. A lot of the times it doesn't completely line up, and so we say, you know, I'm mostly this, that, or the other thing, but there's also a lot of my own personal whatever I put together from that. I think that's fine, but I am a modern eclectic practitioner. Not everybody agrees with that, but that's my 2 cents. And also, as far as whether your personal beliefs would fit in with paganism or whether paganism could be a good thing for you, it depends on what your personal beliefs are. There are lots of different definitions that people have for paganism. The one that I personally mostly employ is anything that is non-Abrahamic is technically considered pagan. There are other people, however, who like to consider only European-based pre-Christian paths to be pagan, or only polytheistic faiths or polytheistic European pre-Christian. Like there are all different definitions. So it depends on what your beliefs are, whether you think that fits into the category that is called paganism. And then, of course, with my definition, there are lots of groups that fall under that very wide category that don't refer to themselves as pagan. So part of it is also just whether you choose to consider yourself pagan or not. But not all pagans do participate in the things that you mentioned in your story and the topics in the description for the rest of you to read that. Things like reading auras, reading tarot cards, doing magic. Not all pagans do that. I do, and I think several others of us on the channel do, but that is not something that is a requisite of paganism. That's something that happens to go along with it a lot of the time, but is not necessarily. Actually, Sheldon and I recently finally recorded some collaborative videos that we have to send back and forth to each other and get edited, but one of the things we talked about was how I am pagan and a witch. I've been noticing in my personal life, not everyone realizes that I'm also a witch. They know I'm pagan, but they didn't know that I also did witchcraft. Whereas for him, people automatically assume that the two go together. A lot of the time, people assume that pagans all do all of these things. That is not the case. So if it's more just about the beliefs for you and not as much about the practices, there's still a place in paganism for that, provided that you feel that your beliefs are part of the community that is called paganism. I cannot tell you that for sure. That's always going to be something that is up to you in the long run. But if we were to know a few more of your personal beliefs, I think a lot of us could probably say, yeah, that sounds pretty pagan, or, that sounds like something that a lot of us in the community also believe. I could recommend some books for that. For example, Joyce and River Higginbotham's book, Paganism. I have some videos on my personal channel talking about the basic principles of paganism that they discovered through their research and interviewing people. They're kind of the things that are fairly universal among all pagans. Some very basic things, so maybe start from there. Maybe that could help. There's just so much. Paganism is such a wide variety. It's an umbrella term of so many different things. So basically, I think if it's a community that you're interested in joining, and it's something that you feel in your heart is a place where you could find like-minded people and find a place, then there is a place for you, is how I feel about it. But that's just me. That's just me. Anyways, I hope that helps, and I will see you next week, although next week I will actually be out of town, so I will probably be pre-recording my video and having it uploaded. I haven't really decided yet, but I think that's what I'll end up doing, is pre-recording, so I will see you next week. I will also be updating occasionally on my Patreon for sponsors only feed, and probably occasionally on my Facebook as well while I am out of town, so I don't know yet. We'll see. I don't really know what's going to happen. So until I see you next time, until you hear from me, don't forget to be awesome, blessed be, and goodbye.